What's up, everyone? TCG Cast coming at you with a exclusive Runeterra interview. Today, joining me is Isaiah Roberson, our resident Digimon expert. Isaiah, how are you?
Dude, I'm chilling. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Still sweating since I hadn't gotten any colder in this house since the last video. And our Runeterra god, Lucas Machado. Lucas, what's going on?
Just vibing.
Just vibing. So tell us a
Just
little
moving.
bit about Runeterra and how it differentiates itself from other TCGOs.
Alright, so back in the day, I used to play a lot of Hearthstone. Alright, it was the first card game I ever played since like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff as a kid. I liked it a lot, but the cost was always a barrier to me because once a new expansion comes out, the meta changes and you have to spend all your money on packs to stay relevant with your decks.
Yep, pay to
Plus,
win.
old cards become wild, so you can't use them in standard anymore. So I stopped playing eventually once a few expansions came out. And then Runeterra came out, and a big feature of it that they were advertising when they were developing it was that it would be very friendly for new players, and that you wouldn't really ever have to pay to win if you didn't want to. So my favorite thing about it is that it's the cards are separated into regions, kind of like how Magic is separated into their different colors.
hmm
And when you play, you activate a region, and every amount of XP you get will go towards rewards in that region. And you literally don't have to spend any money at all. I've been playing on this account since November.
hmm
I haven't spent any money except on some cosmetic stuff, and I'm already I'm doing well. I've been playing expeditions every week. I'm about gold ranking, and I haven't spent a single fucking cent on cards.
That's nice. That must be real nice. As opposed to MTG Arena, which I know Mike plays, and I'm sure that gets quite expensive, just like the hobby. So
Yeah.
hearing
Yeah,
that,
it's you don't even have to pay for packs. It's literally just you get a weekly vault, you get XP, and then you'll get like every Thursday you unlock your vault, and you get just chests out of it. And it's always a good deal. You'll get something called wild cards, where instead of having to pay shards for cards like you do in Hearthstone, you'll get like a wild card of a certain rarity, and you can turn that into any card you want of that rarity. Like right now, I have like 200 common wild cards just sitting in my bank. I can make any deck I want, and that's a great part of it.
that is. Do ranks affect how many chests you get to open? Like, does your rank?
No. It's all based on the amount of XP you get in the week. That's all it is.
Okay, so the more you play, the more you get.
Yeah, and you get dailies, usually about like 1,000, 1,500 XP. You get XP from winning PvP. You get a little bit from winning AI games, from Expedition, all that.
So I can just grind AI games if I wanted to, really.
Yeah, I mean, right now there's an event going on. You can literally just grind in AI games if you wanted to.
Excuse me. Isaiah, does this sound familiar to the Pokemon TCGO that I know you've been playing quite a bit of?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you pretty much kind of like with the grinding aspect. I know whenever I want to get packs of like battle style, like Vivid Voltage, I just play like a random person online, and then just build up enough currency so I can just get a pack. But it's interesting that you can kind of just do that with just a straight up AI.
Yeah, it's a very generous system. Obviously, it goes faster if you're playing against real people, but if you wanted to, you could just do AI. There's a lot of ways to go about it.
Yeah, that XP system sounds real unique, and like I think that's the selling point for most players, especially new players into the TCGOs. And I know it's grown massively in popularity over the past couple weeks, and they've got this new, would you call it like an overhaul update coming out soon?
No, so the Dark Horizon event just happened, or it's ongoing. All it is, if Runeterra is based in the League of Legends universe, a big part of League of Legends is skins for your champions, and Dark Horizon is just sort of starting that for Runeterra, where now there's a few skins that fit like a cosmic theme. That's really all the event is, but I think it was the beginning of May, late April, the Guardians of the Ancients and the Shurima event happened. So we have this whole new region that came out. It was like over 100 new cards. And I think in the event calendar, the next region's coming out in like a month or two. So there's a lot of new content like ongoing constantly.
Was the new region coming out?
I'm not sure. I don't think they've announced it yet. I'd expect like the Void or something. I'm not sure.
Are the Yordles in the game?
Oh yeah, there's a few. Teemo's in there. I play him a bunch every now and then.
Oh boy. So there's a specific deck that you run, or what's the meta looking like right now?
Since the new expansion came out, the Azir Irelia deck is really popular. It's a fast combo. It's very aggressive. You want to win in as few turns as possible. You know, so you summon a million creatures, which you summon a million sand soldiers, and then Irelia's blades. You level your champions up by the more you attack and summon. At least those two. It's very fast and aggro. I don't really play it because honestly, most of the time I play Runeterra, I'm playing Expedition,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like Hearthstone's arena mode, where you'll get rounds of random cards and you have to sort of make a deck that works, but without really you're not gonna know what you're gonna pick really. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing that a lot, and that Expedition's pretty generous too, because in arena you pay the arena fee, you get one go, and I think you have to get to 7 wins without losing any games.
Mm-hmm.
In Runeterra, you get 2 trials, so for 1 token you get 2 chances, and then you have to win 7, but any game before game 6, you have to lose 2 times in a row to lose. So if you lose once, if you win your next game, you don't have to worry about losing again.
Hmm.
You don't have to worry about losing your run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm playing that a lot. If you do well, you get a lot of XP from it. And it's a good way to learn the game and get better, work on your fundamentals.
So how do you pay for the tokens to get into Expedition?
So every week you get an Expedition token from the weekly vault.
Mm-hmm.
I have a crap ton of shards that I don't use. I think it's like 2,000 shards for a run if you want to do it that way, but I have like 30,000 in my bank, so it's just free runs at this point. I think you also every week you only have to pay for 3 expedition runs. Once you go for the 4th one, it's free. It's less rewards, but you don't have to keep paying for them.
So if you do 5, 6, and 7 runs, those are all free too, or is it just every 4th one?
Everyone after 3 in the week is free. You get less rewards for it, but it's pretty
really
good.
you're just paying 6,000 for a whole week.
Yeah.
And you can play as much as you want.
It's not bad.
And those carry over every day for the whole week.
Yeah, it's for the whole week.
Well,
Was there anything that drew you to this TCGO more than the other ones? I know you mentioned the free to play price point and everything like that. Was there anything?
Really, at first, it was just the fact. You know me, I play a lot of League of Legends.
Yep, we do.
It was sort of, yeah. It was because of that really, because I play so much League, and I've been waiting for a new Riot game since I first started playing League like 8 years ago. So I dipped my toes in it, having some previous experience with Hearthstone and stuff like that, and it's stuck with me. Usually I'll open up Hearthstone, I'll play for like a week or two, and then I give up on it. But I don't see myself having that kind of burnout with Runeterra, because it's fun. Plus, I can play it on my phone. The UI is basically built for mobile. It's seamless. I have no issues with it. Just play for like an hour or two every day before bed. Get my XP in, do my dailies. It's not too much of a grind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does sound fun. I might have to try it out too. I know with like you said with Hearthstone, I know with MTG Arena, I'll play it for like a day or two, and then I'll just completely drop it. And I know a lot of online card games have that quick burnout. Isaiah, is that a problem for you with the Pokemon TCGO?
I mean, for me, like, I haven't really had like a burnout. Like a couple weeks ago, I ended up maxing, like, I guess essentially maxing out my account, in which I got like all like the levels for each, I guess like color, It's like the highest.
Hmm.
But now I'm kind of like since like I've got to that point now, I'm just like, I kind of don't want to play this anymore because like everybody plays the same deck, and I'm not trying to like deal with that. So like I might have to hop on this on this Runeterra
The hype
track.
train.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the
Yeah, and
Runeterra.
the onboarding system's really good. There's a lot of mechanics. I mean, I haven't played Arena a lot, but I know a lot of it's inspired by Arena. But they have like a million tutorial missions so that you can figure out each mechanic. It's super easy to get into.
That sound yeah, I might play it right after we're done recording, right before I go to bed. It sounds like the perfect lay in bed and try to fall asleep type of game. Or does it ever get intense? I know with
Yeah, it can.
I played Hearthstone a little bit, and there were times where like I sweated more in Hearthstone than I do in League, and you know how much I sweat in League.
It can get intense. It's compared to Hearthstone, it's a lot. The pace is pretty fast. You know, your turn's not over when you both move. It's when you both decide not to make any more action, so you can just keep going over and over again for your next turn. But I mean, some decks are slow, and if you're keeping up, that's gonna get intense. But I never sweat too much. You know, it's always fun to me.
Yeah.
You very rarely run across something that you can't find a way of beating. You know.
So like my question, because I'm kind of like I've been watching this video that's on the screen while you're talking, and it I know we brought up like Hearthstone a lot, and like what would be like the differences in your opinion between Hearthstone and Runeterra?
So I mean, like I said, it's a little bit faster, at least from my experience with Hearthstone back in the day. I know a mechanic that's pretty unique compared to any other trading card game is that like your turns, you have mana that goes up each subsequent turn, and you use those mana on cards. But you don't have just units; you also have spells, and you have a bank of spell mana. So if you don't use two of your mana on if you don't use your mana on turn two, on turn three you'll have two of that mana converted to spell mana. So if you're gonna cast a spell, which there's a ton of, it's not going to use up all your mana. You'll have some saved in the bank, so you can utilize your resources to do some tricky plays, and then also like kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, where like certain spells will activate in different phases. In Runeterra, you have burst spells which activate right away, and with no option to react. You have fast spells which the person will be able to react to, but only with other fast spells or burst spells. I mean, there's slow spells where the opponent will have a whole nother turn to make a decision on what to do. So there's a lot of versatility in the game.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, and then also since it's based on League of Legends, the main the big cards are champions,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I'm seeing
every champion card will have certain ways to level up and become stronger. Like for example, Zed on the screen, when he attacks, he summons a living shadow with the same exact stats as he does, and then he levels up when he or his shadow has hit the enemy nexus twice. And when he levels up, he gains more attack, more health, and his shadow will have both his stats and his keywords. Like if he has quick attack, which is where you hit before the enemy, his shadow will have that too. There's a lot going on in the game.
hmm So that going back to that spell mana cost, um, how many spells are you casting per game, and how do you utilize those resources to keep yourself a nice healthy balance between like champions and spells and the little minions thrown out as well?
I mean, really, it depends on the kind of deck you're building. I play I don't play ranked very often anymore, but when I do, it's usually an Ezreal deck, an Ezreal Fizz deck. And Ezreal's thing is that if you target enemies, he levels up eventually. Fizz's thing is that once you cast enough spells, he levels up. So in a deck like that, it's going to be spell centric, but there's there's decks like a Darius where he levels up when the enemy nexus has less than 10 health, so you're going to be building a lot of low level, low cost units that you can get going right away, and then a few heavy hitting spells, or you'll get units with overwhelm that will deal damage on top of the blocker. So it really just depends. You know, you still have to sort of adhere to the mana curve of stuff like Hearthstone so that you're never too far behind your opponent, but you can really build with whatever.
Sounds a little bit like a Rookie Rush, Isaiah.
Just thinking that.
The Rookie Rush deck, getting all those minions out and just spamming them into
Just
your opponent.
Pounding your opponent straight in the face.
So what's your highest
Aggro deck.
what's your
Go
highest
ahead.
rank so far?
The last ranked season I reached like gold 2.
Oh, nice.
I started it starts you at iron every
Mhm.
time,
Oh shit.
or at least the first time you play, which is I started in iron because it was my first time playing on the account. This season I haven't played yet because I haven't really been. I've just been focusing on expedition
Mhm.
basically, but you know, there's also there's another mode called labs, which is it's like a rotating thing where they have like experimental modes. They even have a little roguelike mode where you pick a champion with a preset deck and different you go through different AI opponents, and then once your health carries over from every match, after every win you select like random little power-ups and extra cards, so it's kind of like building a deck and like a roguelike. You know, and they're always adding extra game modes too to diversify what you can do in the game, so you never get bored.
You had me at roguelike. I don't think I've ever heard of a card game with roguelike elements.
It's done pretty well.
That might be the one that I'd be playing. The permadeath progression, it gets me every time. I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
I'm
see,
100% ready to give this a try.
yeah, like on the screen, or right, like 2 seconds before that, it said versus player, versus AI, or tutorials.
Hmm.
This is from like beta probably, because right now there's like 9 different options of like what you can play
Oh
on the
lord.
side there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost endless.
Alrighty. Any more questions, Isaiah?
So what's the deck size? Because like I know typically like for Digimon, for example, like the max cards that you can have in a deck is 50. So I'm kind of curious on like how big the deck is in this game.
So it's 30 cards. The only the only limits are you can only have 3 of each card, and for champions, you can have 6 total champions and 3 max. So you could usually it's 3 and 3 of a champion. You could do 3 champions, 2 each, but nobody really does that. So the meta is usually 2 champions that have some sort of synergy, and then a deck that just prioritizes leveling your champions up. Playing to their play style, fast, slow, control, aggro, stuff like that.
So you can synergize any two champions, or they have to be from the same
They can be from different
area?
regions.
Regions, yeah.
They can be from different. You can do a mono region, or you can do a 2 region deck. There's a mode called Singleton where you can have, I think, like 3 regions, but you can only have 1 of each card. It's one of those game modes they have every now and then. But usually it's 1 or 2 regions, six champion cards total, which can be spread between 2 or 3.
Is there any mulligans in this game? I know Digimon's going through this thing right
Yep.
now where they're not allowing any mulligans.
Yep.
Don't get me started on that. Please don't.
Yeah. At the start of the game, you get a 4-card hand, and then you can choose any of those to take out and draw something else.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I was seeing on the video just now.
Yeah. So like are the champions in a way similar to planeswalkers and Magic or not really?
Um, I never played Magic, so I'm not entirely sure. I know they're kind of like legendaries in Hearthstone, pretty much.
So yeah, akin
They're
Okay.
to
yeah.
planeswalkers. You don't have too many in a deck, but once you get them out on the field, they basically win for you.
I mean, there's a lot of low cost champions who don't have like an immediate effect.
Hmm.
You know, like like Teemo, he's only a one cost champion. So
Hmm.
if you have him turn one, you can play him turn one, but he has he has one attack, one health. So he's very weak, but what he does is if he attacks the enemy nexus, which he is usually able to do because he's elusive, which means he can only be blocked by other elusives. He plants 5 shrooms in the enemy deck, and then if the person draws a card with a shroom in it, they'll take damage corresponding to the amount of shrooms on that deck. So
Oh,
that's
boy.
something where you kind of like you try to build up how many shrooms are in the deck. You'll have certain units that when you cast spells will add shrooms. Once Teemo levels up, he will do a ×2 multiplier on the shrooms in the enemy's deck if he hits. So though there's a lot of there's a lot of low cost champions where they won't have an immediate effect, but if you play around it well, it'll do a lot for you.
Now, let's say you draw 3 Teemos in your first hand. You can play all 3 Teemos, or do they stack on each other?
No, so yeah, that's a good question. If you have a champion out, any other copy of it in your hand will turn into a spell that corresponds to that champion.
I gotcha.
So like with Teemo, once you play him and then the Teemo in your hand, they'll turn into a card that will add 5 shrooms to the enemy deck, but it will also add a Teemo into your deck. So it's not like you're losing that champion completely. You'll have a chance to draw them again.
Okay, I gotcha. So the Teemo deck sounds like the way to go.
Yeah,
Um,
I might have to play that
if you
deck.
want.
That sounds fun as
Teemo
well.
deck with really good luck.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, you got any more questions, Isaiah?
No, I can think of. I'm just ready to play this game now.
Yeah, me too. I'm ready to go crack it up.
Yeah.
Probably download it on my phone and play on my breaks.
Yeah, it's a fun time. That's what I do on my job, honestly, most of the time.
Alrighty. Well, thank y'all for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can stay up to date with all of our new content. Y'all have a good one.
Bye-bye.